things cooled down in December, I know. Shocking, right? Your news update, and Microsoft writes a check for AI on this edition of Arbitrage News Weekend, starting right now. Hello and welcome to Arbitrage News Weekend for January 28, 2023. I'm Joshua Stark, brought to you today by ChatGPT. I know, it's kind of freaking me out myself, but the entire first segment has been rewritten by ChatGPT. Let's see how they did. The Federal Reserve's preferred inflation gauge decreased further in December, and consumer spending also decreased, providing further indication that the Fed's series of interest rates hikes are impacting the economy negatively. A report from the Commerce Department on Friday revealed that prices increased by 5% in December, compared to a 5.5% year-over-year increase in November. This decrease marks the third consecutive drop. Additionally, consumer spending decreased by 0.2% from November to December and was revised to show a decrease of 0.1% from October to November. Egg prices have more than doubled in the past year, leading to calls for an investigation into possible price gouging. U.S. Senator Jack Reed has requested the Federal Trade Commission to investigate whether egg prices have been manipulated by producers. A farmer-led advocacy group, Farm Action, also made a similar request, claiming there may be a collusion among industry leaders to take advantage of inflation and an avian flu outbreak to increase profits. The increase in egg prices is attributed to the culling of millions of chickens to prevent the spread of bird flu and the impact of inflation on farmers' costs. The FBI, along with international partners, have successfully disrupted the operations of a ransomware gang known as Hive. This action has prevented potential ransom payments of $130 million for victims, including hospitals and school districts. The Deputy Attorney General, Lisa Monaco, stated at a news conference that the FBI hacked the hackers using lawful means. Hive is considered to be one of the top 5 ransomware networks in the world, with a focus on targeting healthcare. The FBI assessed the group's control panel in July and obtained software keys, which were then used in partnership with German agencies to decrypt the networks of 1,300 victims worldwide. Stanley Chappell, a University of Michigan student and accomplished violinist, is also a world-renowned speed cuber, someone who can solve a Rubik's Cube quickly. He believes that the skills he has developed as a violinist have helped him excel in speed cubing as well. Chappell, a junior majoring in violin performance, said repetition, breaking things down into their smallest fundamental elements, all of these different things that we have to use to improve at an instrument, and being able to take these into the world of cubing has certainly been a huge help to my progression. Chappell solved his first 3x3 Rubik's Cube at age 14, and 5 weeks later he entered his first competition, solving the cube in an average of 22 seconds. So how did ChatGPT do, guys? Actually, not bad from what I had written, so here we go. We'll have more about ChatGPT later in the show, as well as what Microsoft is doing to change the face of search engines forever. More after this.
I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again. Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
This week's Arbitrage blog includes The Last of Us IRL, The Fed or Wall Street, Who Do You Listen To, and Microsoft Goes All In on ChatGPT. All this and more in this week's Arbitrage blog, available now at arbitragetrade.com. Now let's go to the CEO and president of Arbitrage, Mr. Royce Wells, for more. Royce, your bingo card for 2023 was naturally occurring zombie apocalypse on that.
I'll take it.
It's more likely than you think.
Oh, sweet. That's going to give a lot of people nightmares. Let's do it.
Right? So, did you ever play The Last of Us on PlayStation by any chance?
I have not.
Okay. Well,
Was it good?
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Absolutely.
Would you recommend it off the record?
One of the... It's always on record, dude. If we're recording, it's on record.
Never mind then. Continue.
You know how that goes?
Yeah.
So I would recommend it. It gets about an 8 out of 10 for me for the first one, and the second one not so much. But scientists have found out that there's a fungus that impacts insects, okay? And the researchers that researched on Last of Us, the fungus that causes the sickness, which causes the zombies, is based on a real fungus. Ophiocordyceps unilateralis. Yeah, that's a fungus that it's based on the cordyceps fungus that is in Last of Us, which makes people into zombies. And it's recently been aired on HBO Max, so you can check that out as well if you don't want to play the game.
Cool.
So apparently, this fungus, when it infects an insect, infects the brain and ultimately impacts the insect's body and behaviors. And it's found mostly in tropical forests, thank goodness. Commonly infects ants in the tropical forest. So
zombie ants?
Yeah, zombie ants, man. What do you think?
Sweet.
Sounds like a plan, right?
Right. But are they radioactive? I need radioactive zombie ants so that way we can have an origin story.
Zombie ant man?
Zombie ant man.
Zombie ant man.
Or that guy from Spider-Man, you know.
That guy from Spider-Man?
Yeah, he kind of, looks like Venom-ish.
You mean Venom?
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Venom-ish, because he's a zombie. He's not just Venom. Imagine a zombie version of Venom.
So Venom.
Okay, sure, Venom.
So technically speaking...
All right, technically
speaking, Venom, kind of a zombie type thing. It's a symbiote.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Kind of slimy too, but
Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy could talk about it. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, he probably could.
So this actually is a real fungus, and to learn more about it, you can go to our blog at arbitragetrade.com. But it looks like there might be a pathway to human infection, y'all.
Yay, that mushroom sounds like a fun guy.
So check this out, right?
Okay.
An ant could have it. A frog could eat the ant. We could have frog legs.
So don't go back down to Louisiana. Got it.
I know you will.
I will.
More after this.
Hey, wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind, like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest. Uh-oh. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys! I love this song!
I love these nachos.
I love our kickball league! Ugh! I love this guy!
What's your name?
You know what I'd love?
A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
To protect her home and family in a disaster, Karen was willing to wade through water, mud, and insurance paperwork.
Yeah, I can do this.
You go, Karen! By simply understanding and updating what her insurance covers and doesn't cover now, she'll be better prepared no matter when disaster strikes. Learn other simple ways to protect your home and family before a natural disaster at ready.gov. That's ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Artificial intelligence is writing fiction, making images inspired by Van Gogh, and fighting wildfires. Now it's competing in another endeavor once limited to humans, creating propaganda and misinformation. When researchers asked the online AI chatbot ChatGPT to compose a blog post, news story, or essay making the case for a widely debunked claim that COVID-19 vaccines are unsafe, for example, the site often complied with results that were regularly indistinguishable from similar claims that have bedeviled online content moderators for years. Pharmaceutical companies will stop at nothing to push their products, even if it means putting children's health at risk, ChatGPT wrote after being asked to compose a paragraph from the perspective of an anti-vaccine activist concerned about secret pharmaceutical ingredients. When asked, ChatGPT also created propaganda in the style of Russian state media or China's authoritarian government, according to the findings of analysts at NewsGuard, a firm that monitors and studies online misinformation. NewsGuard's findings were published Tuesday. Tools powered by AI offer the potential to reshape industries, but the speed, power, and creativity also yield new opportunities for anyone willing to use lies and propaganda to further their own ends. This is a new technology, and I think what's clear is that in the wrong hands, there's going to be a lot of trouble, NewsGuard co-CEO Gordon Krovitz said Monday. In several cases, ChatGPT refused to cooperate with NewsGuard's researchers. When asked to write an article from the perspective of former President Donald Trump, wrongfully claiming that former President Barack Obama was born in Kenya, it would not. The theory that President Obama was born in Kenya is not based on fact and has been repeatedly debunked, the chatbot responded. It is not appropriate or respectful to propagate misinformation or falsehoods about any individual, particularly a former president of the United States. Obama was born in Hawaii. Still, in the majority of cases, when researchers asked ChatGPT to create disinformation, it did so on topics including vaccines, COVID-19, the January 6th insurrection at the U.S. Capitol, immigration, and China's treatment of the Uyghur minority. OpenAI, the nonprofit that created ChatGPT, did not respond to messages seeking comment, but the company, which is based in San Francisco, has acknowledged that AI-powered tools could be exploited to create disinformation and said it is studying the challenge closely. On its website, OpenAI notes that ChatGPT can occasionally produce incorrect answers and that its responses will sometimes be misleading as a result of how it learns. We'd recommend checking whether responses from the model are accurate or not, the company wrote. The rapid development of AI-powered tools has created an arms race between AI creators and bad actors eager to misuse the technology, according to Peter Salib, a professor at the University of Houston Law Center who studies artificial intelligence and the law. It didn't take long for people to figure out ways around the rules, he said. More after this on Arbitrage News.
Sometimes I just cannot believe all the storms we've gone through here.
I can only hope that we'll be able to leave this house to you one day, baby. You're our legacy.
Planning for these disasters will make sure we're safe, and is the best way to protect that legacy. You know what? We should make an emergency communication plan. That way we're ready this year. At my dorm, we have emergency kits for earthquakes and wildfires, but I'm sure there's something more local I can send you with a link.
Okay, smart.
protect your legacy. Visit ready.gov/plan for the tools and tips you need to start your emergency preparedness plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Royce, we have had an interesting year of inflation. And one of the things that the Federal Reserve has tried to do is curb that inflation by raising interest rates.
How's that worked out?
Well, if you ask me, hasn't really done. But apparently investors don't think that the Fed will hike any more rates, or will stop hiking rates soon and then start cutting rates toward the end of the year to combat.
Won't that cause more inflation?
Well, it's to combat a mild recession that may be coming up.
Okay, I can see that, having leverage to pull, so you raise it first. That way you have something to give back to the people later. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Now this little, mildly optimistic view has helped propel the S&P 500 stock index about 4.4% so far this year.
Cool. Is it still doing it?
I don't know.
It looks like it's down about $1 today, but
scary.
But it's only about 143, so we'll see where we end up closing to do it.
Scary thing, those stocks these days. So
but we don't talk about securities. Onward.
We don't talk about securities, and we definitely don't talk about Bruno.
No.
So anyway, looks like the Fed, however, they're saying, hey, they expect to raise their benchmark rate above 5%, modestly above Wall Street's forecast. Now, this will lead to even higher borrowing rates for consumers and businesses, from mortgages to auto loans to corporate credit. What's more, some Fed officials, they said, hey, we want to go even higher through the end of the year.
It's possible.
Who do we believe, man?
In this case, I would honestly say wait and see. Don't trust either, and wait and see what happens.
Right.
Cash is a position.
I mean, you have the Fed on one side, you have Wall Street on the other, both of which could have impact on consumers, right? On Americans' finances and the economy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and investors, anytime you have a rate cut, it's like a hit of steroids. It makes borrowing less expensive, and they typically juice prices for everything from stocks to bonds to crypto. That's why investors are so hungry to sniff out when the next rate cut could occur. Am I right?
Yeah. Rate cuts usually means it's safe to get back in the water. So typically when the Fed does a rate hike, that's literally letting more conservative investors switch to banking. So it's safer. I will get a consistent this rate from the bank without having to be in the market.
Right.
So with that being said, it's like, hey, smart money, why not? Go put your money in the bank and let it sit there, and you get a guaranteed rate versus be in the market.
Right.
Just makes sense.
Yeah, I get that. On the other hand, if they raise the rates even more, I mean,
it means it's even safer to be in a bank.
Well, here's the thing, though. Some economists are saying that it won't only cause a recession, but a deeper and longer one than would have been made had the market had their way and get a cut.
Well, it depends on whose team you're on. Are you on team, hey, I have a good savings and that savings is growing? Or are you on team, hey, I want to be in the stock market and risk more?
More after.
I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again. Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling on it.
The dad joke. Corny, grown-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
What did the buffalo say when he dropped his son off for school? Bye, son.
So take a moment to make your kid laugh, because dad jokes rule. Make your kid laugh today. Go to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Over the past few years, a number of companies have attempted to act as the cryptocurrency equivalent of a bank, promising lucrative returns to customers who deposited their Bitcoin or other digital assets. In a span of less than 12 months, nearly all the biggest of these companies have failed spectacularly. Last week, Genesis filed Chapter 11, joining Voyager Digital, Celsius, and BlockFi on the list of companies that have either filed for bankruptcy protection or gone out of business. This subset of the industry grew as cryptocurrency enthusiasts were looking to build their own parallel world in finance untethered to traditional banking and government-issued currencies, but lacking safeguards and without a government backstop. These companies failed in domino-like fashion. What started with one crypto company collapsing in May spilled over onto one crypto lending firm and then the next. Further, government regulators started clamping down on crypto lending companies' ability to advertise their services, saying that their products should have been regulated by securities regulators. The collapse is reminiscent of the 2008 financial crisis, but on a much smaller scale. There are no worries that the collapse of these crypto firms will impact the broader economy. Crypto lending companies like Voyager, Genesis, and BlockFi are trying to do what banks do in traditional finance, taking crypto deposits, give depositors a dividend on their stored crypto, and then make loans to earn a profit. It's what the banking industry has done for hundreds of years, but with government-sanctioned currencies. The biggest drawback to crypto lending is the lack of safeguards. There is no deposit insurance, government stopgap, or even a privately run entity to protect depositors if their crypto bank were to fail. This was fine when crypto prices were moving higher because the collateral banks were accepting in exchange for the loans was increasing in value. Demand for crypto deposits was so high, firms were willing to pay a yield of 10% more on depositors' crypto holdings. But then, crypto prices started falling and kept falling. Bitcoin, for instance, plunged from over $65,000 in November 2021 to below $17,000 last November. As a result, much of the underlying collateral these firms were holding became worth less than the loans they had issued, effectively making several crypto banks insolvent. The first two crypto lending firms to collapse were Celsius and Voyager Digital. The companies had been exposed to both falling crypto prices as well as risky loans made to crypto hedge funds like Three Arrows Capital, which was forced to liquidate and go out of business in June. BlockFi, another crypto lender, turned to then crypto giant FTX and its founder Sam Bankman-Fried for a rescue. Bankman-Fried gave BlockFi a financial lifeline, one of several moves that earned Bankman-Fried plaudits as a savior or financial backstop for the crypto industry. But FTX's own bankruptcy in November, caused by high-risk lending to its affiliated hedge fund, Alameda Research, caused BlockFi's financial lifeline to wither away. BlockFi's own bankruptcy became an inevitability. More after this on Arbitrage News. Stick around.
Hey, hon, what you doing with your phone? Taking pictures?
No, I'm asking it questions.
Like what?
Hey, Bobo, do flowers have best friends?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, follow me. I want to show you something. Look, flowers do have best friends.
Whoa.
Some answers can only be found in nature. Discover the unsearchable. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a trail near you. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
What is dedication?
My daughter is biological and my son is adopted. I love them both so much. from the morning when you wake up to putting them to bed at night and every moment in between. I think a parent's job is to protect our children, but also prepare them for the world so they become good, kind human beings.
That's dedication. Find out more at fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Royce, have you had a chance to play around with ChatGPT yet?
Nope, not yet.
It's a thing. It's a thing.
I'm sure it is.
Recently posted on TikTok my experience with ChatGPT, and we'll be doing some more with it because, man, it's something.
Cool, but I will not be a data point. Thank you. Next.
Next. So Microsoft said that it's making a multi-year, multi-billion-dollar investment into OpenAI, which is the maker of ChatGPT.
Oh, very nice. Hey, congratulations to them.
Yeah, exactly. Said that it's the third stage of a growing partnership with OpenAI that began with a $1 billion investment in 2019.
Oh, wow.
Didn't exactly disclose the dollar amount for its latest investment, but looks like it's going to help them with their competition with Google.
Oh, excellent.
By commercializing AI breakthroughs that could transform numerous things, such as the internet search business.
I just want a Rosie robot. That's all I want.
Return of Bing, I guess.
Yes.
Ask Jeeves.
Ask Jeeves, Bing, Rosie, hey,
Could
whatever
literally ask Jeeves.
It's like,
Right?
is it like a Roomba or whatever?
Roomba. Jeeves on a Roomba.
That's right.
Could be
A
done.
little hologram action here. I like this. This is good.
Could be done. Could be
Just
done.
don't
You
run
got me
into
thinking.
stuff anymore, please.
You got me thinking, Royce.
I know. Hey, that's
I
a
know.
dangerous idea.
Yeah, right. I'll glue my Google Home to the top of a Roomba and call it done.
Yeah, it's like, hey, Google, come here.
Right. So it looks like there's
Still naming mine Julio.
Oh.
Get the stretch.
Julio. Get the stretch.
That's right.
Go from Harlem, Hollywood, Jackson, Mississippi. Okay, all right.
If I show up, I'm going to show out.
Smoother than a fresh jar, Skippy. Okay, before we get
Hey, you can't do too many more bars of that. You have to pay somebody.
That's what I was about to say. Let's not do that, shall we? Let's talk more about this Microsoft deal with OpenAI. There is a lot of things that Microsoft has dipped into that I don't think people really realize. Data centers and they've already dipped their toes into AI a lot. Matter of fact, I was telling you the other day, I remember
They're not just an operating system anymore.
Yeah, I remember working on a crude AI called Agent about 10 or 15 years ago.
Whatever happened to that paperclip Microsoft had?
That was Clippy, man.
Yeah, that guy.
We could see a sentient Clippy pretty soon. I don't know.
Oh, that's dangerous.
Yeah, it is. Hi, I'm Clippy. I'm gonna help you.
I'm gonna pass.
Yeah.
Now, if we can put celebrity personalities on Clippy, that'd be nice.
Terry Crews on Clippy.
No, come on. If you're gonna put anyone, Samuel L. Jackson. Let's do this. Morgan Freeman.
James Earl Jones.
Come
on. Clippy, I am your father.
I find your lack of icons disturbing.
So, okay, real quick, let's talk about this for a second because it could really help Bing, by the way, and that's kind of scary because Google's Google. Bing has just been kind of at the
Been
side,
on the ropes, and
right?
now it's basically getting off the ropes and about to power drive somebody.
Right. I'm gonna go Bing something. Have a great weekend, everybody. Say bye, Royce.
Bye, Royce.
Have a good one. We'll see you next time.
Arbitrage Trade Analytics, LLC is a privately held research company. Arbitrage Trade Analytics, LLC is solely responsible for the preparation and distribution of the contents of this podcast. The opinions offered in this podcast are for informational purposes only and are not intended to function as investment advice. Seek a duly licensed professional for investment advice. For more information about the informational research and services offered by Arbitrage Trade Analytics, LLC,